He had a job maybe today or something.
That's a good health card.
Yeah, he had hired set up.
Good. Good for him. That's another one down. So I'll move him to the graduate with employment category. Okay, welcome everybody. Today is our Google Apps MindMup final day. And what are we doing with MindMup today? February 10th. Hello, Dennis.
Hi, Ed.
Oh, hello, Rose.
How are you?
Hello, California. Good. Good. We're doing well. So we're going to have a full house in here soon. And then tomorrow, as our employer, Fifth Avenue Restaurant Group is going to be here trying to hire 100 people.
Great.
So that's good.
Vegas? I was trying to send you some of mine, but I don't think anyone want to move to Vegas just yet.
Las Vegas is one of the 7 great cities in the world.
So you see, you guys, you get into it right away.
Very expensive cost of living. Everything is new. The weather's beautiful. No traffic. Well, there's about 2 miles of traffic, but that's it. For LA people, it's no traffic. This is really a great place to be. So, but what we're going to talk about today is our MindMup and employment planning, how those two fit together, and what we're going to do. And I really want to focus on the job aspect of employment planning. I think what happens is a lot of people get caught up. They don't do the employment plan part, and then they just fall back to what everybody else does, which is make 10 copies of a resume and make 10. What's everybody doing in here?
The MindMup.
You want MindMup?
I'm trying to figure out which one is it.
Which one?
Yeah, LBS, LB.
The one that you saved yesterday? That one? Okay, so that should be in your recent, but let's focus on me for a minute and we'll get to that. Because MindMup is a tool, but like any tool, if you don't know how to use it, what's going to happen? This is in construction. If you don't know how to use the tool, let's say it's a hammer bit. Bad things, right?
Yeah.
Somebody might get hurt, the tool might get broken, the job might get screwed up, right? A lot of bad things can happen. So it's important to learn how to use the tool. And one of the things about using the tool is just following the instruction book, right? Here's how you use the tool. But it's probably more practical in learning to use the tool if you are. It's probably more important to learn to use the tool if you're actually using it on the job, right? So if you're going to be using a tile cutter, it's one thing to take it out of the box, get some practice tiles and cut it, right? But what's better than that, Jesus? Using the tile cutter on a job, right? Cutting pieces of tile to the size you actually need them for something. So, so that's what we want to focus on with MindMup. Okay. Okay, so California, you're muted temporarily. We've got too much feedback coming in, so I think it's like there's 2 microphones open. But in the meantime, let's go to the MindMup we created yesterday. And how do we get there, Jesus?
Google, and they go to Google Doc, and they go to Reset.
Okay, I'm on Google Plus.
9 square grid.
9 square grid. Okay. Now what?
And then click on recent.
Okay, recent. Okay, so is Christina's things, is your computer on?
Yeah, I'll click on one.
Okay. Okay, so recent. So what we want you to do is get to the MindMup that we started working on yesterday. Go to recent. And the MindMup was something like EPS LBS, LV, EPW. Do you have it, Larry?
Yep.
Okay, good. Now, does yours look like this, people? How
No,
close
not
is
yet.
it?
It just says EPW and it's really,
In the center?
yeah.
Okay, so if you click on that, so that it has the blue outline, and then you hit the F key, what happens?
Hit expand.
Good. Okay, so how does yours look compared to this, Larry?
Exactly the same.
Perfect. Good. How about you, Jesus?
Mine wasn't the same.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now let's
Okay,
go
all right.
to the notes for today's class. Okay, so what I wanted to focus on today was the job part of your employment planning workshop. And over here, okay, so this is the research one. We want to open up the other one also. So what was that called?
I think that's right. LBS, LV research. Not bad.
The first one we did. Yeah, it might have been that. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, this is the one Larry did. No, this is not the one. Okay, well, one of the things that we did is we created an overview of the employment planning workshop process. Can you try to find that, Phyllis? That was the one that had what I want to do, you know, find that what are companies that do that, 3 to 5 companies, that map. So if you can find that, the name of that for me, and I'll pull it up. But what we want to focus on is the job part. And a lot of people get confused about what they're trying to do with the job. This is what you should do. So for you, Christine, this is real estate. Okay, but in the meantime, you have to pay bills, right? So what are you going to do to pay the bills?
Get a job.
Okay, doing what?
Whatever I end up doing.
Okay, so this is the answer to that question. What are you going to do to pay the bills? People who are actors and musicians have it very clear. Do you have?
Employment planning.
Okay, what's the actual, what am I looking for?
I have it under employment planning.
Okay, so today we want to focus on the answer to the question, what do you do while you're waiting for your thing to come out? And people who are entertainers are very clear. They go work as a waiter, they work in a bar, they work in places like that while they're waiting for their opportunity to come in. Why do they work in places like that? Why would you say that somebody who's an actor would work as a waiter, Christine?
Maybe to be better with people.
Okay, well, they do it.
So it's
Number one is because it's not hard. They don't have to learn a lot. So when you're doing your job, the number one thing is you don't want to go get a job where you have to learn a lot to do that job. Because what happens when you're learning to do that job?
takes time and you're not getting paid.
No, you might be getting paid, but it takes time. And when you're learning to do that job, what are you not doing?
Taking time from the.
From what you really want to do.
Yeah.
Okay? In other words, if you want to be an actor, they don't take jobs to learn to be computer programmers. Why?
Because it's not what they want to do.
Well, it's not what they want to do, but money is money, right? So why would they choose to be an actor, a waiter, instead of working in an office doing computer programming? Why would they do that?
It's easier.
Well, they don't want to learn to program because if they learn to program, they're not able to practice what they really want to do. That's one reason. Another reason is if you learn to do something, that typically means you're building up job security. It's not easy to replace you. And so a lot of people that go take those positions as a waiter or a bartender, they can leave like that. Just give 2 days notice. Hey, sorry, I told you I was waiting. I'm an actor. When I got this job, I told you this is what I wanted to do. My opportunity came in. I'm leaving next week. No big deal. Because if you're a guy that owns a restaurant or bar, you know employee turnover is an issue. So you don't have people, waiters, you don't have your business dependent upon, well, the waiter quit, I guess we don't open tomorrow. You don't do that. That's not that case.
I put it in school for it. It's under employment planning.
Okay. So we're going to go look for this one that we really want to see. Okay, it's in the employment planning folder in there?
No, it's under,
Oh,
just, it's in the folder. I mean, it's not in a certain folder, it's just inside the school folder.
okay, it's called employment planning.
Yes.
Okay. So let's open up the employment planning MindMup. And it's just called employment planning. And why is it called employment planning? That doesn't seem
That's
like a
what you-
name I would create.
That's what you,
I did? Okay.
not that one. Did you click on the one?
There we go. Okay. Okay, this is the one we want. This is the one that we want. So everybody, what do? Go to the drive. Do you know how to find it, Christina?
Sort of.
Okay, so one way is to go to the drive, go up to the search box up here, and type in employment planning. Okay, that's one way. Another way is, do you have a MindMup open?
I did.
Okay, it's closed.
Well, now I'm doing this other thing you said,
Okay.
so.
Okay, so that would be, and then to find it, you have a folder called LTCLV. And Deanna, what are you working on now?
I'm creating one actually. I don't
Okay.
know.
Well, let's go find this one, all right? Because this will
My
make it,
old one? I have-
not your old one, this one here, okay? It's just called employment planning, and it's in the LTCLV drive. And you might be able to cut and paste stuff from your old one into this, or take stuff from here that you don't have in your plan and add it to yours. You can just copy and paste. Okay, so for Christina, the steps to our proactive employment plan, our dream position, and you already have that, right?
Not really.
Where you want to be in real estate.
Well, what do I want to be? A sales agent, but.
In real estate,
Yeah.
that's what you want to be.
Yeah.
That's number one. What is your dream
Oh,
position?
Yeah, I have a dream position.
Okay, that's your dream position. Step two is to find 3 to 5 companies that do exactly what you want to do.
Okay.
Okay, that's step 2. Step 3 is to do research on them. Okay? Step 3 is to do research. Okay? Hello,
Hi, how are you?
I am well. Did I see you last week?
Did you see me last
Were
week?
you in? the-
Turning Point? Yes, sir.
Okay.
What? Not really. It's just a web chart.
Because you're going to be here for a job interview thing tomorrow. But you need to fill out some papers.
Oh, okay. Absolutely.
Hello.
Hi.
So do you have everybody under control? Good. Good. Well, it's because Lieutenant Scally's looking out for you.
Okay.
This is not, are you planning to get employment?
Yeah, we had a,
Right.
I had a couple places that were hiring, so I was trying to get there. And instead of mine, I was without one of the Tuesday, I'm waiting for you. And we got hijacked when we were Tuesday, we had to come. I told them, I'm 50-some years old. I don't want a computer class. I can't sit and start spending all day. I can't come.
Well, here's the good news. The employer that's coming tomorrow is not a computer employer. It's a restaurant group.
Okay.
That owns 50 restaurants. They're hiring 100 employees. But it's very easy for me to send a text to Lieutenant Scally right now saying you're going back. You guys want to do that?
Well, I just want to ask you, what's the job and when does it start?
Do you want me to just send a text to Lieutenant Scally saying we're sending you people back? Because that's very easy for me to do. Not really in your best interest. But if you think you know better than they know what's in your best interest, I'm willing to support whatever you think.
Yeah,
It's
we're
good.
just trying to figure out, because nobody told us anything about this.
Okay, so the good news is, just because you don't know why you're here doesn't mean we don't know. Just follow the program and you're going to find out. Or just say, hey, you know what? I want to go back. It doesn't matter to me. Okay, I understand that, but you know what? What's your name? What's your name? We're getting close. Okay, so number 1, dream job. What is your dream position? What is your dream position?
Real estate agent.
Okay, whatever it is. Okay, whatever it is, you have to know that, because if you don't know where you're going, any path will take you there. Okay, if you don't know where you're going on any mission, any voyage, any trip, any job search, if you don't know where you're going, any path will take you there. So the first step starts with, what do you want to do? Now, they don't teach you that in these other things. They teach you focus on getting your resume put together. Don't worry where you want to go. You don't need to focus on where you want to go. Just get your resume done. And then go find people. That's not the right way to do it. That's a thing to do when you don't have time. Okay, number 2, find 3 to 5 possible employers that do what you want to do. How many real estate companies do you think there are here?
1,000 companies or a lot?
A lot, okay. I don't think there's 1,000. I think there's like, well, I used to know 14,000 agents, licensed real agents, I think, in here in Clark County.
How many brokers there are?
Fewer brokers, fewer realtors, but there were more agents, more licensed real estate people than there are houses on the market. Okay.
That doesn't mean they're all doing something.
No, it doesn't. Then that shouldn't
Yeah.
discourage you at all.
Yeah.
That should just be, okay, interesting. That's just interesting to know. So the third thing is then you research those companies to what level, Larry? How far do we research?
Oh, you want to research at least, and you know more than your interviewer.
Exactly. You don't need to know every single detail about the company, but the safe thing is if you know more about the company than the interviewer, the person interviewing you knows, that will benefit you unless you do something that Larry pointed out that we shouldn't do, which was what? Yesterday.
Let him know.
Yeah.
Let the interviewer.
If you put it to the interviewer in such a way, hey, I know more than you know about this company, that's not good. Because at the end of the day, they hire people they like. They don't just hire people with skills. They hire people they like. They can hire somebody who has less skills, but they like more.
Just be prepared.
Well, prepared, and so for us, the level of preparedness is to know more about that company than the interviewer, but your social skills, you don't want to act badly. You want them to be able to, when you say, I really want to work here, and they say, why, you have an answer. If they say, well, what do you know about our company? The answer would be, well, actually, I know a lot. I did a lot of research on this. I know, and then you start talking about important facts. We started by this date, by this guy, for this reason. Here's why you do what you do. You have this many people. And you start, and then they're going to say after about 32 seconds, they're going to say, okay, I got it. Then they might ask you a question. And to test whether you know more than they know. So the idea is you do research and you know more than they know. The next step, create a plan. So by plan, what do we mean, Deanna? Create a plan to do what?
To map out what you want to go to first.
To map out your whole, yeah. So now I've done research. The thing is, now what? This is where your calendar comes in. So when do I want to have my position by? When do I want to be employed by? Do I want to have my job start the day I get out of Casa Grande? That would be kind of stupid, right? When would you want the position to start, Deanna?
Like maybe 5 days after leaving.
Okay, maybe 5 days after, maybe a week or 2 weeks before, right? That might be kind of challenging because then they're going to have to let you have time off to do stuff, right, when you get out. But the idea would be that on your calendar you have 2 dates. Here's when I want to have it by. Here's when I really need to have it by. And this could be a year out. I need to have it within a year. I'm going to commit a year. And that's sort of what actors and entertainers do. I really believe I can do this. I really believe this, or writer, I really believe I can write a great book. I'm going to set aside this amount of time, and if I can't do it, then I'm going to give up. I'm going to get the message. I'm not good enough to be an actor. I'm not good enough to be an entertainer, but I'm going to keep doing it until this period of time. So the plan is start, when do I need it by? Who am I going to, what am I going to do first? Does that company have any events? Like hiring events? Do they have any open houses? Is it a store? Let's say it's a restaurant or a store. Would you think it would be good to go work there? I mean, go eat there? Buy something at that place before you went for your job interview? Okay, what would you think? Now let's say you were going to be in the construction business and you want to do tile and you want to work for a home developer. Would it be a good idea to go look at some of their job sites before the interview? What would you say in the interview? Why do you want to work for us? What would you fall back on?
I feel like I could be a better job.
Okay, so, this is when, why do you want to work for us? Is kind of a two-part thing, but it's mainly the us part as opposed to some other home builder. Why do you want to work for us? Well, because I believe in this, whatever it is. I believe in doing high-quality work at a good price, which also just happens to be what they say where. Where is it? On their website, yeah. It says that's what they are. I believe in that. And I went out to your job site. I went into some of these homes, and I believe I can do as good or better of a job tomorrow morning than those jobs because, and you have to have a reason why. You can't just say, well, I believe I can do better. Because in their mind, they're going to be saying, because what? Because you're just saying you can? And it would be, so like if you were Italian, it would be because I have passion for what I do. I'm Italian. I have a passion. I do things passionately. I don't do it to the level where it's acceptable. I always go one step beyond that. Now, that doesn't work with a home builder who's just trying to get homes built done quickly and cheaply, right? But is that the kind of thing you want to say for someone that's building homes that are $5 million? I believe in exceeding expectations. You know, because when you say that to somebody who has a low budget, they're trying to build good quality, low cost homes, they don't have time to fix every single little detail, right, Jesus?
Right.
You don't get to the end of the tile job and say, oh man, we screwed up, we got to rip the whole thing out. But if you're doing a $5 million home, do you do that?
Maybe.
Yeah, you probably do. You probably do, because when the owner comes through there and does an inspection, they're going to say, this is not acceptable. And it's going to be doubly bad, because if the homeowner sees it, they believe that you already knew that. Now you're trying to fool them, right? Now you're trying to cover stuff up, and then they start thinking, what? What other things are there? Yeah, what other things that I'm not seeing? Now I got to go back and I got to check everything out because they tried to pull this one over on me. So in a $5 million home, you never get to the end and then say, we got to rip it out. Because they focus before, in the beginning, okay, we got to do this right, because if it's wrong, we know we're going to have to rip it out. We got to do these things exactly right. Take a little bit more time, but it has to be right the first time. We aren't going to have a second chance at this, because this is expensive materials. So part of your plan is, when am I going to see the people in what order? So do you think on your 5 possible employers that you have a ranking of here's my first choice, second choice, third choice, or do you think they're all equal? What would you say, Deanna?
I would have first, second, third choices.
Hmm?
I would have first, second, third.
Yeah. So what's the strategy? What's the best strategy for what order do you go in? Do you go to your first choice first? No. Why? Why not? Because you're going to learn. You're going to say, oh, when you walk out, you're going to say, oh, I wish I had done this.
Yeah, you know what? That's exactly right. I remember when I first started job searching, I get practice talking to the employers.
Right. You want to feel comfortable.
Exactly.
So if you feel really good, you go to number 2 first. If you're not so sure, you go to what? Number what? 3. Then you go where? 2 probably, or 1. You might say, okay, I was just overly paranoid. I nailed that. I'm ready to go after my first guy, my first choice now, because I really feel good about how I did that. But that's part of your plan, is I've got these 5 people, I've researched them. Who do I go to first? Who do I go to second?
When you second choice first, and then you go first choice second.
Yeah, well, we don't know right now, but you probably do not go to number 1 first. You probably do not do that, because you're going to learn from that experience. And what you don't want to do is burn that one. You don't want to burn that opportunity. So, so we create a plan. Now, okay.
See how they try to do? I mean, I don't even pay attention. And nothing to do with that. Disagree with everything he says. I'm not gonna say it. I disagree with every damn thing he says.
No, but see,
But did you get all that?
All right. folks. How you doing?
Good, John.
You guys doing all right?
Good.
All right. Hang in there. It's going to be good.
Cool.
All right. So you said your parents are in real estate.
Yeah. Well, they were a long time ago.
Really?
So,
Do
yeah,
you want to get in that too?
absolutely.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, man, get ready. There's a lot of money to be made in that.
Oh, yeah. A lot of work, but a lot of money.
Oh, you can do it. You're motivated.
Thank you.
You're motivated. Yes.
How long are you going to be here today? I need to speak with you before you leave.
I got some time. You want to talk now, or you join the class?
Well, I don't know. You might just come running back in here.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll wait for you.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. So, yeah, it goes.
This shit right here drives me crazy. But this shit, I hate it.
Why? It's hard to use.
It's hard for me. Like, I don't know. I'm not interested.
It's boring.
Yeah.
Well, like,
I don't feel like I'm already like maybe like but not like stressful.
I didn't come here to learn how to get a job. I don't care about this. That's all cool and all, but it's not what I said. It's like, how do I create another long style? Create another note. So I'm hoping I like.
Set up on typing. Phyllis. Oh. Here, I'll just take this one. We don't need this one.
We give you a tip, Dexter. Get 20 resumes, not 10. Pass them all out.
Like the way you think. Hey, that's my secret. Give me a job. Give me a job. As many as possible. That's good policy.
Get yourself prepared for all possible questions. You're gonna nail it. That's it. First, they're gonna go to this one that's higher. I know that much. Great.
All right, Larry, I'm gonna send you an invite.
Shit, I offered to clean this place today, and he gave me dirty looks. Fuck it. Yeah.
Larry, I'm sending you an invite.
Okay. So, there we have.
That's what I
Would you like help in your place in getting? Brittany, yeah, Brittany's gonna be on Google Plus.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last thing, execute the plan and then get a job. And again, on our notes for today's class, the job part, there's 3 important things to consider when looking for a job. And these are on the Google Plus. 1, something you're competent at. You already know how to do it. This is not a thing that you're going to do for a career. You're only doing this part-time. You need to focus on your future. which means not investing time learning something else. Actors are waiters because they don't have to learn a lot to be a waiter, and they can practice acting while working, right? Ditto for telemarketing. If you're an actor, can you practice acting if you're in telemarketing? Yeah, you can pretend you're different characters. You're an Englishman. You're a smart person. You're a dummy. You can pretend you're Hispanic. You're German. You're Dutch. You can pretend. You can act something that is close to where you work. Okay, so the second thing is for a job, find something close to where you work or shop or whatever, that it's on your route, your path. Don't waste time and money and travel costs. Spend that extra time working on your plan. 3, make sure it's something you can leave quickly when your opportunity arises. When your planned employment arrives, you must be able to take it immediately on the employer's terms, on your new employer's terms. In other words, if they offer you a job and they say, we need you to start Tuesday, you don't start negotiating at that point, because you're only going to hurt yourself. Maybe they'll say, okay, but you're going to be losing points. You want to be the person that you are the go-to person. We need something done. Who do we have do it? Oh, Christina. She'll do it. She can get it done. That's the person we go to. Not, well, every time we ask Christina to do something, she always wants to negotiate. Or she always talks about how hard it is for her to do things. You don't want to be that person. So when the employer says, hey, we want to hire you, can you start next Tuesday? You want to say, I'll do my best. I'll absolutely do my best. I have to give notice where I am. I'm working at this bar. I'm working at, whatever. I'm working as a waiter. I'm working in telemarketing. I'll call them today. I'll call them right. You want me to call them right now? If you say that, you want me to call them right now? That is an indication that you're serious. Don't have a job that you can't resign from with only a couple days' notice. Don't pick a job like that. Don't pick a job where you're going to say, well, I got to give 2 weeks' notice. So the thing is, in all caps, set proper expectations with the people at your job. So when you go get a job as a waiter or bartender or 7-Eleven or telemarketing or whatever it is, you set proper expectations. Here's why I'm here. Okay? I'm really an actor. I'm really an architect. I'm really this. I'm going to be an astronaut. I'm going to be whatever. I'm doing it for this. When I went to law school, a lot of people have low-level jobs, non-thinking jobs while they're going to law school, and the guy that owns the bar, the restaurant, the 7-Eleven, whatever it is, doesn't say, no, I'm not going to hire you because you're going to law school and you're going to quit. He's thinking of, are you going to be a good employee while you're here? Because that's what they want, is they want good employees now. So you got to set proper expectations with the place that you go. But the purpose of a job is to pay the bills while you're waiting for the thing you really want to do to come in. Okay? You get a job because you're waiting. You need a way to pay the bills while you're waiting for your thing to come in. Don't be the kind of person that is unemployed watching TV, waiting for their opportunity to come in. Because if you're that, it's part of your plan, don't have part of your plan be, well, until my dream position comes in, I'm just going to sit home and wait. Don't be that person. It doesn't look well for the employer. People like hiring people who have a job because it means somebody else is willing to pay you. Somebody who's sitting around on the couch that says, I'd rather do nothing, doesn't leave a good taste in employers' mouths. Okay, that's one thing. Another reason is it kind of tends to make you look lazy. People who are very active are liked by employers. Employers like people who are very busy. They don't want people who say, well, I'd rather just, nobody's paying me, so I'm just watching TV at home. Or I take care of my mother's kids, or I do. That's not the sign of somebody who's a committed employee. So if you have a job to pay the bills, that indicates you're serious. The other thing is, if you have a job, you can be more choosy, right? If you've been sitting home doing nothing because you're holding out for one of these dream positions, and you don't have money coming in, you can't pay the bills, they might make you an offer that you wouldn't normally accept. But you're going to take it because you're desperate. How are you going to feel about that employer if they take advantage of your desperation? Yeah, you're not going to feel so well about them because they took advantage of you. And it's not that they're taking advantage of you, they don't know you. The guy who's in the interview, or the people who are doing it, they're trying to get the best deal they can. And if they throw out a number, not expecting you to take it, and you say okay, because they'll do that. Don't think they won't. They absolutely will give you not their best. They won't start with their best offer. And if you say okay, how do you think they feel? Do you think they feel good? We got him.
Not necessarily.
No, they think, well, maybe we could have offered him less. Okay, so if you have something of value, you don't just give it away for free. But if you've been sitting home and you have no money and you're desperate, and they throw out a lowball offer, it really takes a lot to say no. I can't. I need more. So Nolan could tell you, he was in that situation. They offered him more money. Yeah, please. Yeah, they offered him more money than he was willing to start for. So it was one of these things. All contracts are like this. Here's what their offer is. This is what they will pay. This is what they want to pay. There's a range, right? And we have a thing of here's what we want and here's what we'll accept. Right? If they throw this offer out and you say yes, chances are their attitude is going to be, well, what if we had offered this? So they're not going to be happy. But no one was in this position where they offered him more than he wanted. They offered him, they were here, and he was here. But he knew if he said yes, they would think, what? They'd think, well, could we offer him more or less? Could we have offered him less? He knew this was their offer. It was more than he wanted. And he said, but I also need a car. And what do you think they said?
Yeah.
Yeah, they said yeah. And then when they said yeah to that, he said, and I don't remember what it was, and he said, I need something else. Because when you're in sales, when does sales start? Does anybody remember when does sales start? Selling starts after they say no. Before that, you're an order taker. So Nolan, he was down here. This is what he wanted. They offered him this. He asked for more because he knew that there was some other number here that was the most they're willing to pay. And it turns out they liked him even more because he kept asking for more. His value became more to them than if he would have just taken their first offer. if you have a job, do you think you'll be more willing to say no to their first offer? Would you, Brittany? If you had a job and your dream job came up and they made an offer, would you be willing to say that's not enough?
No.
Okay, so you'd take it. Okay, well, see, that's why you should come here, because you're going to make a lot more money and your employer will be happier. Nolan's employers didn't think less of him because he said, no, I need a car. They thought more of him. Why do you think they thought more of him, Christina?
He didn't seem so desperate.
He didn't seem desperate. Also, they started thinking, wow, this guy's confident. He's probably more valuable than we even think he is. So that's probably the ultimate reason it's important to have a job while you're looking for your dream thing, because it's easier to say no when you have a paycheck than when you don't. Okay, so we're going to wrap it up for today. California is muted. So let's see, today is Wednesday. Tomorrow we might have a guest speaker. So Dennis,